This is the Ian and Tyler Show. Welcome to it. This is the only sports talk show with high school kids as the host. Let's start with the opening drive. The Patriots beat the Miami Dolphins 23-16 this Sunday. Tom Brady had another great game with 228 yards and one passing touchdown. Welker with 12 catches, 103 yards, and a touchdown. So, I go to my co-host, Ian Becerra. Who do you think is the most consistent player on the Patriots this year?
Probably Tom Brady. The way he's been playing has been pretty good. He's always been, even if they're not scoring touchdowns, he's always been leading them on field goal drives. And I think it just helps the defense to know that they can go out and play aggressive, knowing that they have Brady back there and he can go out and score for them quickly.
To go back into NFL news, this weekend, it was Sunday, right? Sunday morning. Linebacker Javon Belcher of Kansas City, Saturday morning, in Kansas City, shot his wife and then went to Arrowhead Stadium where the Chiefs play. Called a meeting for the coach Romeo Crennel and their GM in the parking lot, I think it was, and shot himself in the head as the police were rolling up. And the Chiefs pulled out a big emotional win on Sunday. So.
Yeah, I think it was good for them to get the win, especially with like the coaches. Pioli was there, the GM Crennel, and also their linebacker coach was there. And I think that's really hard on them to see that. But it's like you don't know what's going on with the players in their lives, and I think it's always good to be close to them on a personal level, so you know what's going on, because like they're all people. They're not just like athletes, not like robots, like video games or anything. They're actually people, and I think that's important. And I think what he did was awful, but I think it was good for the Chiefs to rally around it and stay focused on what they're doing. Because I don't think you want to get too down on it, because obviously the person had a lot of issue, and the real victim was his girlfriend in this, because like that's just bad. And then taking your own life after, like that's never a good thing. But
very selfish.
Yeah.
I think. And they had I think it was a 5-month-old infant child, so it's just sad to think that kid is going to grow with no parents.
Yeah, especially knowing what happened with a lot of players like this now getting into trouble. I think really that's why it's good for the coaches to know them on a personal level. Try to keep them out of trouble. Try to like keep them straight and on their focus on playing football or whatever sport it is.
Another big win yesterday was the Indianapolis Colts beating the Detroit Lions last minute. Andrew Luck had another great game in there. They're 8-4 now, and one of the top teams in the AFC.
Yeah, I really think so. I think that if they can get a pass rush with Mathis and Freeney, I think that they can really be a team to beat. But I think Vinatieri as their kicker will be great. T.Y. Hilton and Louis Brazil, great special teams receivers, guys that help them set up the field possession, make short fields for Luck, especially being a rookie. I think Donald Brown and Vic Ballard, it's a nice little combo for them back there. And I think they got a lot of talent, especially in Reggie Wayne, just a huge security blanket. And that was huge for him, because like bringing back Reggie Wayne just allowed Luck to go out there and have his security blanket. Like Brady has Gronk and Welker, Luck has Reggie Wayne now. And I just think that's huge for him. And I think Luck, he's a rookie. He's going to struggle like he did against the Patriots. And yesterday he threw a few picks, but he also threw 4 touchdowns, leading them down against a good Detroit Lions team playing really well now with Stafford and Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson with an amazing catch yesterday down the sidelines. He made a really good one-handed catch.
I did see that. He had 171 and a touchdown in that game too.
Yeah, he's
the Peyton Manning and the Broncos beat the Buccaneers. They just keep winning, but I think the Buccaneers are still a very good team. They're young, and I don't think they'll make the playoffs this year, but they definitely have some potential.
Yeah, I think Peyton Manning leading the Broncos. I just think he's so good. I mean, Demaryius Thomas he's just a phenomenal receiver, and I mean, we saw that last year with the one play in overtime against the Steelers with Tebow, but you really couldn't.
I want to talk about the New York Jets. The final was 7-6, I believe, and Sanchez threw how many interceptions?
3.
In only 3 quarters of play, and Tebow being hurt, so you can't blame it on them not starting Tebow anymore. But McElroy came in and threw their only touchdown of the game, which I think was huge. But I just don't see a future for Sanchez as a starting quarterback in New York anymore.
Yeah, I mean, especially giving him like the big deal that he recently got in the past off season or 2 years ago maybe. But especially getting that big deal, like I mean, if you think he's your guy, then give it to him. But if you're gonna bring in Tebow and try to like start a controversy, and that's just not what you want to do. I mean, you want to let him. You either gonna stick it out with him or you're gonna get rid of him. But I think it's gonna be hard to get rid of him with the contract without eating some of the money. And I don't think Tebow's the answer either, because I mean, if he was, he would have been in already. But I don't think the Jets are going anywhere this year, so I think they should give it a McElroy, just because like you want to see what you have, and if he can be better than Sanchez, then you know Sanchez isn't your guy. If a rookie that you just drafted this year can come in there and be clutch and get that touchdown for you, but not to say he was great by any means, because I mean it was a 1 yard touchdown pass, but still being able to lead them against, even though the team wasn't that good, like the opponent wasn't that good, but they're still a pretty good team. I think that they have a good core with Revis and Holmes, but with them being hurt, I think it's tough. But I think that they should give McElroy a chance, because I think if they do, then you just know what you have with Sanchez, and you can try to build for next year, or go out and sign a quarterback or draft someone, try to build for the future.
The NFC East leading New York Giants take on the Washington Redskins tonight. Monday Night Football. RG3 has had a great season. Everyone expected it, but I just like the only touchdowns you see him throwing are just like long ones, and those are like the flashy ones. But like his running attack is good, and do you think? My question to you is, do you think he's like all about the hype, or is it like Tebow was last year, or is it just he's been playing like good enough?
I think he's really been playing well enough. I mean, he's a good thrower. I mean, he's nothing like Tebow was. I mean, Griffin he's a bigger Michael Vick in that kind of sense. I mean, he's not a physical runner like a Tebow or a Cam Newton, but he's got a very good arm for being such a physical. Well, not a physical, but he's a pretty physical runner. Not saying he's a big guy, but when he runs, he's not gonna, just go into a slide like quarterbacks will. He's gonna give it everything he got. You saw that with the concussion he got earlier on this year. So he's a pretty good runner. I think his skill set is good, especially with the offense they put him in. I mean, Shanahan's really done a nice job of working in like the guys that they have, especially when they had Garcon out earlier in the year. Now that he's back, I think that'll help him. I mean, he's got some pretty good receivers with Garcon and Santana Moss, and I also think Alfred Morris running the pitch that also just helps them out, because you also have a good running back that they got, and if you can get it to him and he can run for 100 yards plus a game, but you also have the threat of RG3 just taking off for a long run. I mean, that also helps. It just helps the deception of what he's going to do on every play, and you always have to honor the play action, because on any given time he can just take off and he's going to score.
To switch sides and talk about the Giants, they're leading their division. They've been playing great this year. I just don't see Eli Manning playing up to his potential, and their receivers, as good as their receivers have been in the past years, losing Manningham was obviously a big loss. But people like Nix, Cruz, and Martellus Bennett, they haven't stepped up this year and haven't gotten that one big play. Although Cruz was a big target in the beginning, but he has certainly slowed down since then.
Yeah, I think they're really going away from like what makes them good. I mean, obviously with Bradshaw early on in the year when he was playing well, that's what they need to get back to, running the football and establishing that. But I also think that he needs to go to his receivers and trust them to make some plays. But their offensive line hasn't been that good. But and especially with Nix being banged up for most of the year, they can really just go out there and double team Cruz. And I think Bennett's been a bit inconsistent, but I still think that he's got some talent, and I think he'll be a pretty good player for him. But I just think that Manning needs to trust his ability, and he needs to trust his receivers. But I also think they need to establish the run game with Bradshaw, because if they can get that going, that'll open up stuff deep for Cruz. And now that Nix is back, but I also think that they need to go with some underneath stuff. I mean, last year when they were playing well, I mean, they weren't going to cruise. They weren't trying to pound him the ball. Or same with Hakeem Nicks. They were trying to find the open guy when they beat the Patriots last year. They had a good running attack. They were trying to just find the open guy. I mean, it's not like they're not the Patriots where all right, Brady's throwing to Welker, to Gronk, to Hernandez every game, and then some Ridley's gonna get something in there too. But they try to mix it up, and I think they're trying to go away from that and trying to force the issues, and especially with their defense going through a little bit of a slump. But then you see games where they play the Packers and just everything clicks, and it's like, wow, how come that can't happen all the time? And it's because I just think that their offensive line isn't good enough, and I think Eli has he has some growing pains still because he's still a pretty young guy, but I think that if he can put it all together, I really think he can lead his team because I think the rest of the talent is there, but I think that they just really need to rally around him and believe in him because if he just starts playing well, I really think that'll get the receivers going, and other teams' defenses will have to really honor Manning, and that'll open stuff up for Bradshaw.
Alright, that's it for us today. Thank you for listening, and just check this channel for videos. We should have one every week, just depending on the schedule. So, thank you.